Cyberpunk 2077 is a video game, but its developer, CD Projekt Red, is making it seem as though it's going to be something much more than that. They are creating an event, a cultural moment, a medium-defining piece that has the potential to be important for gaming and popular culture for years to come. They've also put over 8 years of development and over $300 million into this game to make that so. Simply put, they want to be able to say a lot more than, oh, we sold a lot of copies of that game. There are 4 main factors that make CD Projekt Red set to achieve this: advertising, establishing a connection to the outside world, community building, and delays. Let's start with advertising. In the article from the Computer Games Journal, The Effects of Evaluated Reviews on Market Success in the Video Game Industry, Brett Sherrick and Mike Schmierbach state that advertising budgets are the best examined predictor of overall market success when it comes to video games. With how prevalent ads for this game have been, it should be assumed that CDPR has to foot a pretty large bill to market this game. Unfortunately, at this time, CD Projekt Red has not revealed an exact number for how much they spent on advertising or developing this game. However, GameBite.com reported in November of 2020 that analysts at a Polish brokerage company called Dimboss believe that the budget to promote and develop this game will be over $314 million. That's a significant amount more than the $265 million Rockstar spent on Grand Theft Auto V, which is currently the most expensive game ever produced. So, okay, great. CD Projekt Red spent a lot of money on advertising this game. How does that make it bigger than just a game? Well, quite simply, the game is everywhere right now. Want a Rockstar? Cyberpunk. Want some new Adidas? Cyberpunk. Want to know who won the US election? Cyberpunk. That's right, if you paid any attention to the results of the US presidential election in November, odds are you saw images like these while watching the news coverage. Obviously, this could have just been a coincidence, but at this point, can you put anything past CD Projekt Red? It seems like more than a coincidence that a game about dystopic urban existence is being advertised during scenes of dystopic urban existence. Either way, CD Projekt Red knows what they're doing by putting these advertisements everywhere. They put up ads in Times Square that cost $2.5 million alone, according to GamePressure.com. Of course, other games have been advertised in similar ways, but none with this much scale or spectacle. This remarkable level of advertising is important because it is the most obvious piece of Cyberpunk, besides the game itself, that actually exists in the real world. In addition to the prominent advertising, there are an abundance of connections that this game has with the real world. Just look at all the ads. Does this guy in the advertisement look familiar to you? Of course he does. It's Keanu effing Reeves. This actor has been a main stage in the game's advertising since he was revealed to be playing a character in the game during a reveal at E3 2019, an announcement that has since become a pretty big meme. You might be surprised to find out that he's far from the only real person featured in the game. Streamers Jesse Cox and Co-Carnage revealed that they will be in the game alongside others like IGN journalist Alana Pierce. Even Dr. Disrespect has hinted at being in the game. All of these people's appearances in Cyberpunk do 2 things. First, more advertisement. Great job, CD Projekt Red. Secondly, it ties our material lived existence into that of the game world. Any of these individuals will have a deeper connection to the game if they can expect to interact with them as their character in-game. And the real-world connections don't stop there either. CDPR got real-world artists like Run the Jewels, A$AP Rocky, and Grimes to create original music for the game. CDPR is literally pulling the real world into the game in a more complex way than just dragging and dropping known songs to in-game radio stations in the way that Grand Theft Auto V does. This is important because not only does it help put the world of Night City in parallel to the world that we live in, but it also makes the world so believable in a way that games simply have not yet been able to do. So we've got advertising and a connection to the real world. How does that make Cyberpunk important and bigger than a game? Well, on its own, it doesn't. However, with a community that matches the scale of the game itself, it does. And surprise, surprise, CD Projekt Red is pretty good at building communities for their games too. CDPR has gotten so many people to be a part of its community, it's nothing short of insane. Heard of Elon Musk? You know, the second richest man in the world? He's tweeted about Cyberpunk. A lot. You know who else has done that? Me, along with thousands of others. The Cyberpunk subreddit has amassed over 500,000 members. The official gameplay trailer that came out just 2 weeks before launch amassed over 28 million views in that same time frame. One of the ways Cyberpunk has been able to amass such a following is through a webcast series called Night City Wire. In this series, the developers show a little bit more every episode, from a behind-the-scenes special with Keanu Reeves to how the vehicles in the game were created. It seems CDPR has given fans almost everything but the game itself at this point. It might be cliché, but the hype is real for Cyberpunk 2077, and it's there for anyone aware of the game. The reason for this? Hope. That's right, hope. Hope that this game will fulfill the promises made by CD Projekt Red and be everything it has made itself out to be. In an article titled Let Us Live in Hope, Hopeful Engagement in Pre-Release Game Communities, Joshua Zimmerman discusses that communities for games, like those seen on Reddit, are vitally important for developers. He states, quote, "My argument, however, is not that the discursive spaces for a pre-release game, whether official or unofficial, are just a nice place to post hopeful thoughts, but that they in fact encourage hopeful engagement." That's exactly what CD Projekt Red has been doing for 8 years, and they gambled in the process by revealing so much of their game before launch. Truth be told, Cyberpunk will be successful for this reason. It has gathered gamers and non-gamers together in anticipation. Athletes, celebrities, average Joes are all talking about this game leading up to its launch. It has been trending multiple times on Twitter leading up to the launch, but that isn't the first time hype has skyrocketed before the game's launch. If you're watching this video after December 10th, 2020, you may have already played Cyberpunk and seen everything Night City has to offer. However, that moment has been a long time coming. The game was announced in 2013 and eventually slated for a launch on April 16th, 2020, then September 17th, then November 19th, and now hopefully, finally, the game is set for launch on December 10th. Frustratingly, this is where I do have to mention and acknowledge COVID-19 and the obvious implications that the virus and the consequential shutdown it caused had on the release of the game. However, there could be more to it, as delays for The Witcher 3, which is also a CD Projekt Red developed game, helped boost that game's sales. Leaking information and pushing back the release date isn't an unheard of tactic in entertainment either. In Psyche and Eros, Rhetorics of Secrecy and Disclosure in Game Developer-Fan Relations, Joshua Zimmerman states, quote, "Disclosure loses its appeal because nothing is left to disclose. Instead, developers must shift to the next thing, a new secret to be kept and eventually disclosed. This may be a new game, expansion, or downloadable content." Well, what if that new secret is the launch of the game itself? It may very well have been a tactic of CD Projekt Red to delay this game to generate even more interest in the game and further place itself as something more than just a game. CD Projekt Red is suggesting that when you are playing this game, it will be an event in the same way that ordering your first legal beer at 21 is more than just drinking a beer. It's an event. So, in conclusion, with all of those combined factors, it is obvious just how important Cyberpunk 2077 could become for both the world of gaming and the larger world of entertainment. This game comes in a time where people want to desperately escape the real world. What better way to do so than to enter and become fixated in a world that can not only exist on its own, but is in some ways tied to the world that you live in? We won't know today, or tomorrow, or even next month if CD Projekt Red pulled off making Cyberpunk as important as it has the potential to be. It will take years to discover how big of an impact CD Projekt Red will leave with Cyberpunk 2077. But everything leading up to this game suggests that this game has the ability to become a medium-defining piece in terms of more than just what happens when you pick up a controller and play it. So, now it's time to take everything CD Projekt Red has done up until this point and examine Cyberpunk 2077 as an artifact to see whether or not a game can truly be more than just a game. And of course, there's still one more thing left to do.
Wake the fuck up, samurai. We have a city to burn.